Hello everyone, my name is Araceli Garcia and I am the newest member of the Multilingual Department. I am going to tell you a little bit about who I am so you understand a little bit of why I'm so passionate about this topic of supporting our multilingual students. So I actually am a product of this district. I attended Baldwin Elementary, Grandview, and then I graduated from Workman High School. I also have been a teacher for a long time. Will be my 24th year. I actually started as a first grade teacher, fourth grade teacher. Then I moved over to the high school level and taught at Wilson High School and then back home at my alma mater, Workman High School. And so today I want to just remind you of how important your work is. I myself am a second language learner. In fact, I was still learning the new language because language, as we all know, is ever evolving. And so when I talk about our English learners, know that your words and your actions matter so much. Because had it not been for my teachers, just like you, who saw something in me, I wouldn't be here today. I was that kid who was under the radar. I had very limited English skills, but I knew a lot in my home language. My father was a big proponent of being bilingual. He believed that we would eventually learn English, but that we would lose our Spanish if we didn't practice it every day. So in our home, we were allowed only to speak Spanish because he didn't want us to lose our connection with our grandmothers. And so, when I went to school in second grade at Baldwin, I was very shy and very quiet. Sadly, I lost my dad when I was very young, and so my mom, single mom, working class, we worked at the swap meet right here on Vineland. And so it was the teachers who kind of got me out of my shell and would call on me constantly. I have to thank my English teachers in high school, my elementary teachers who noticed me and would ask me every day to talk, to share, to present. Again, we have a lot of well-intentioned teachers. Sometimes I know as a teacher, I feel kind of bad for that kid who's struggling with their English language, or they're a little shy, or they have an accent. But we do them no service if we don't let them practice their English skills. So that's what I'm here today to talk about. And so here's my goals here is to help, just show again, remind you of the spectrum of our English language learners. And even that term itself, I really have an issue with the term because it's using the deficit model, right? Because we're all English language learners, right? How many of you have picked up new vocabulary, right? We invent new words all of the time, right? Google it and you're a YouTuber, right? Those words did not exist a number of years ago. Also, my goal today is to just highlight what the three modes of communication are in the ELD standards. And many of these things you're already doing in your class. And finally, I'll share with you just a choice board that I created because we know, there's not enough time to cover everything and we're all different and we all have different needs and so are our students. So I'm going to give you a choice board where you can explore on your own some things that you might want to use tomorrow, next week, or, not until after you come back from winter break. Okay, so let's take a look at this here. So just so we know some numbers. Here we are in California, and as you can see here, we have 1.1 million English learners. Now, what do we mean by English learners? They could be newcomers, but they can also be our long-term English learners, right? Kids who have not reclassified and they've been in the English language program for 6 or more years. And then we have students who have reclassified who still need monitoring, make sure that they don't, lose their academic skills, English skills. So that's 2.6 million students who are going home and speaking another language. Now again, I want to keep reminding you, which I'm sure you already know. These students, our brains does not separate different languages. It's all mixed into language, right? So we call this translanguaging. And so when kids are using that Spanglish, it really what the brain is doing is trying to find the right precise word. Might be in English, might be in Spanish, might be in a different language, but they have a plethora of words to choose from, and so the brain is working double. And so we remember that we don't want to make our students English only students. We want to make them multilingual students, and that really is the ultimate goal, to expand their vocabulary. they're bringing in that beautiful culture, those values, those that heritage, those experiences that they can share with other students. And so our goal is to get them to verbalize their ideas. So, when we look at the ELD standards, we'll commonly see these three strands, and they're color coded. And so we call those the collaborative strand, the interpretive strand, and the productive strand. And so I'm sure you've seen this chart before. Here it is. And I'm not going to have, we're not going to dive too deep into it, but you can see that we have different levels of students. We have our emerging. So these are going to be your beginner students. And you can kind of read these on your own later on, but these are going to be very basic levels. Maybe a lot of yes, no questions, right? The basic sentences. Then we have our expanding students. So yes, we still want them to do all of these things, produce presentations, write essays. However, if we are going to differentiate what we expect them to be able to do. And so if you go to this next slide, we'll see our bridging students, students who, again, might be producing a lot of verbal language, but what we notice from research is that it's not translating into academic language. All right, so what I did here is I created this little choice board that you get to have. And again, I know it's very daunting and we're so overwhelmed, right? Like I said, I've been in classrooms and as a sub, and it really is interesting to see all the different levels and the different needs of our students, from the kid who constantly needs to go to the restroom to the kid who knows all the answers and wants to be the teacher aide, right? And so uh, think of it like an orchestra. So here, what I did is all of these are hyperlinks. And so these colors, are match the ELD strands that we just saw: collaborative, interpretive, and then productive. And so let's say it's end of the year, so maybe you want them to present. So we have some presentations here. Um, they could do maybe a Socratic seminar, maybe they could write a newsletter. And so all of these have little video tutorials that you can explore later on your own time. And I'm always, welcome to email me if you want more support. Happy to do that. So I'm just going to kind of focus on this one right here, number one: exchanging info and ideas through oral and collaborative discussions. So what we have here, and just do a quick little dive, is, how do we get our students to produce more academic language? We really want to be explicit in what we want from our students. So, again, I taught for many, many years at high school, and I also have my own teenagers, and sometimes getting words out of them is pretty interesting. And so, I'll ask my kids, how was school? Fine, especially my boys, right? What'd you do today? Nothing, right? And now with the mask and the shield and the hoodies and the hair, it's like an invisibility cloak. So I gotta tell my students, I gotta teach my students explicitly what I want from them. And so in my classroom, and I'm sure in many of yours, collaboration is really key, right? It is really important. And so that they are producing language, right? I really believe that discussion is the precursor to writing. It's my scaffolding towards that writing product. And so from day one, my students come in and we do a greeting. In the past, I would ask my students, so how are you feeling today? And the constant response and the similar response was always, I'm tired. And after a while, I thought, well, at least give me some adjectives, right? Why are you going to keep using the same word? And so what I did is I posted on my door outside a word list. And again, this is for high school, so you can adapt it for your little ones, right? And so when they would come in, they would tell me how they're feeling, but they had to use an academic word. And so, they would come in and they would say, okay, hello. So we're going to practice this a little bit if you, don't mind here, just to kind of stretch our thinking, as I believe, and I'm just modeling here. The more the teacher talks, the less the student learns. So we're going to model that. All right. So go ahead, and here's my signal. Okay, so you all know it because I know it because I've been in classrooms and the kids are really good at this. So I say class, class, you say yes, yes. And if I need a signal, I'll just raise my hand, and you just raise your hand too so other people around you know that I need your attention. All right, go ahead and find that someone sitting next to you. You're going to be partner A, partner B, and we'll have partner A start first, and you're just going to ask the question, how are you feeling today? And partner B is going to answer, today I'm feeling, right, because, quick reason, and then we'll switch roles. Now, if I was giving this assignment without an academic word bank, what kind of responses will we get? All right, so let's practice this out. Ready? Here we go. The informal, casual conversation is going to go like this. Today I'm feeling meh, right? That's the words my teenagers use because I'm kind of bored and I have a lot of homework to do. Or today I'm feeling okay, right? So that's, and I tell them, hey, in certain situations, in certain audiences, that's going to be fine, right? You want to have a casual conversation. However, we're going to now up the vocabulary. So what if you are now greeting your boss? What if you are now at a job interview, right? And so how would you greet? How would you say how you're feeling? So I might give my class, my students, something like this, right? And so I would give them, maybe I want to give them a feeling wheel, right? So I don't know how many of you have seen this. So here in the center, you can see some of the basic vocabulary, right? So I would choose kind of a color. So for my students who maybe need more guidance, I might say, okay, what color are you feeling? Are you feeling strong? Are you feeling happy, right? So here are my words. And then now we're going to expand our vocabulary, right? And I might have them look up the word so they know a little bit more. Maybe I just, focus on just a few, right? So yeah, I'm feeling energetic today because I drank way too much coffee. Or maybe you're feeling a little bit, bored, or you're inferior, right? You don't feel like you're as strong as everybody else. Maybe you're feeling a bit apathetic. So this is just one, word bank. And if I were to go here, I really like this one because this hits some of the um, academic terms that I like to teach at the high school level. This is also taught at the middle school and upper grades, and that is connotation. That words have a spectrum. And so here, again, I might give this to them before and then I post it, and the students can then come in and say, I'm feeling a little bit ambivalent today because I'm not too sure what I'm going to do this weekend, right? Or maybe I'm feeling a bit apathetic. I don't really care much about anything. So all of a sudden, this quick conversation of how you're doing becomes a lesson in academic language. And so this is just one strategy that you can use when you're doing your warm-ups. Is yes, we want them to maybe tell us what's their favorite ice cream. However, how can I move that to, again, more academic language, right? I prefer a, caramel macchiato shake from Starbucks versus I like, vanilla ice cream. So getting to that precise vocabulary. All right, what else do we have? So here again, just emphasizing informal language versus academic language and being aware, that a home language doesn't always mean casual language. It could be an academic language, right? Again, we want to honor the language that the parents are using at home. So we want to keep reminding them that, yes, we love the home language. We want the second language. In fact, how would we say hello in a greeting in Tagalog, in, Mandarin? And so it becomes a rich conversation in language. So here I might show them this. This comes from Kate Kinsella, and it's under the word frames, accountable word talk frames, right? That is also on the Jamboard. And so here, again, dude, whatever, right? Um, they are informal, but I might want to use some more academic language. So, however, moreover, makes ups my language a bit. Okay, and so what's another strategy that you can use? Here's something else I've done with my class. I'm just gonna briefly walk through this, and that is class debates. Kids love a little bit of competition, and it really helps with bonding and creating some teams. So I might have my English learners pair up with other mentor students who are bilingual possibly. And then I like to use a program called Jamboard, which is on your Google Suite. And there's a link to how to set this up. And I start there first online before I have them physically do something like four corners or agree, disagree, right? So I do like them to move around, keeping social distance, of course, right? But I do have them first do this thing called the Jamboard, and they're going to move their sticky note to one side or the other. They're going to write a quick note, right? I might provide some sentence frames depending on what level I'm at, right? So here's an example. I had my students debate before we wrote a little essay on, should we have robots in our society? And so students, as you can see here, have little sticky notes, and they can move this, strongly agree, strongly disagree, and so forth. And then, I might have them do think, pair, share. I might have them go into four corners, right? And so this is again another strategy. Notice this kid right here. I love what he wrote. He wrote, Should robots do our jobs? And he wrote, nah, because what if they get hacked or something, especially at a bank, and then you locked out of the bank account, and that ain't the move. So you gotta let it write that casual language. But now, we want to go ahead and move it uh, into a more academic language. So I like how this student here, I disagree because I feel like we are moving too fast with technology, and that there's going to be times when technology malfunctions. So again, better, stronger vocabulary. So again, this is just a little technique that you can use, and then I bring out my accountable talk time once again. I want to show them the type of sentences I want them to produce. So notice here, with my emerging students, I might want them to do this one. I believe this because. But if they're ready to move on and expand their English language, I might want to say, okay, I want you to use number 2 or number 3, my primary reason, my main reason, right? Perhaps the most convincing reason rather than the first reason, second reason, third reason. All right, so that's pretty much all I have for you. Like I said, you can kind of play with the choice board that I created. As you can see here, there's many things I put together, including this great website I just found, which I'm like, oh, I wish I was still in the classroom because I would have my students do this. And that is this Pen Pals program where they actually will team up. If you have an account, they will team up your students with students from around the world. I will let that go, but it has a little tutorial there of what you can do. And again, all kinds of things that you maybe have already done. Okay, well, pause there. Okay, so again, if you want any follow-ups, if you would like to get more information of how I've used these in my classroom, you're welcome to contact me. Again, remember that I was a second language learner. I now have a master's degree in curriculum instruction. I became an English major, and I would not have done it if it wasn't because of the teachers like you. So I know we're tired, and I know we're frustrated, and I know it's been extremely challenging, but know that you make a difference and that there are kids sitting around who are now adults talking about you and the great things that you did and how you changed their life for the better. So please leave with that. I wish you well. Thank you so much and have a great rest of the day.